Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing the latest version of the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Sky-Dweller. This is reference 326933 in 904L steel and yellow gold. For 2021, Rolex acknowledged that the Sky-Dweller has always looked like a large Datejust, so they added the Datejust's signature Jubilee bracelet. So that's what's changed. What hasn't is the size of the watch. 42 millimeters in diameter. It measures 14 millimeters thick. From lug tip to lug tip, it measures 50.6 millimeters, and from end link to end link, the total distance across the wrist is 52.4 millimeters. It has a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Pop open the clasp, throw the watch on the wrist. It looks fantastic. The timepiece now wears a little bit more like a Datejust, meaning it's handsome. It's more dressy, perhaps, than the previous Oyster bracelet variants, but it's just as secure on the wrist. And in the era of the solid center link Jubilee, it actually is just as solid as the Oyster sports bracelet, but it ventilates the wrist better than an Oyster on hot days, making this the choice if you live in tropical climes. The watch is suitable for a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference. You can see my wrist is 16 centimeters. I wouldn't go much smaller than this. 15 should be fine, but 14 is probably too tiny. And it will fit underneath most cuffs, including dress cuffs. But just to be safe, assume it'll fit underneath every jacket and most sleeves. The Jubilee here is a 5-link design that originally debuted in 1945 on the original Datejust. We have solid center links, yellow, gold, and steel. Rolex has its own foundry. It makes its own alloys, so it makes its cases, clasps, and bracelets, and it uses 904L steel, which is a particularly corrosion-resistant steel that never needs to be washed after salt exposure, making it different from most watchmaking 316 steels. We have removable links here fixed by screws. You can see you have quite a few options. We also have a 5mm easy link system. It's a snap-in, snap-out, tool-free adjustment mechanism that allows you to fine-tune the fit, and then there are divots drilled inside the clasp. There are 3 divots drilled in there, and you can use your strap tool to change the anchoring point of the bracelet to fine-tune the fit. You can see we have a beak and a hook and a spring-loaded snap lock system. Let's get the little tag out of the way. And it is a positive locking mechanism. It's not friction fit. You actually have to lift and unlatch to unlock it. The case, very much like a Datejust. It's not the super case you find on a lot of the other Rolex sports watches. Polished lug hoods, polished case flanks, nice combination of curves. Here we have the Rolex twin lock crown in gold. We know because it has 2 dots on it. That means a twin lock in gold. All of this water resistant to 100 meters. Now, take a quick look at the crown. You see in the first position, I can wind the watch, and that's just about all I can do. If I pull it out and I turn it, nothing happens. Take the ring command bezel, which is part of the caliber 9001, turn it 1 click. Now I have the ability to set the calendar forward and backwards, and you can see how this calendar works. It's an annual calendar, so it only needs 1 adjustment per year during the jump from February to March. It's bidirectionally adjustable. We have a little date here, and then we have 12 apertures outside of the 12 hours representing the 12 months. Then we have this little red index that jumps from month to month, and that's how it indicates the month and the date. But you'll notice the watch is still ticking. 1 more click counterclockwise. Now I can set the local hour. You can see I can't set the date backwards this way, but I can set the local hour. I still haven't hacked the movement. I still haven't stopped the seconds hand, and I'm not affecting the second time zone. Now, all the way counterclockwise, now the watch is in coordinated set mode. And you can see how I'm setting the local hour, but I'm also setting the reference time zone, which is in 24-hour format. So what I want to do here is I want to set the reference time zone first, and then I set the local time zone separately. And then the last thing I do is I set my calendar system. Okay, so that's how that works. Remember, it only hacks and stops the second when you're in full setting mode. The watch is a certified Swiss chronometer. Rolex then takes the chronometer certified movement, cases it up, tests it in 6 positions so that it runs no worse than -2 +2 seconds per day. That is far in excess of the COSC chronometer standards, and again, it's done as a full watch. Post-2017, the Sky-Dweller dials have been well loomed, and you can see this one is no exception with Rolex's signature chromolite blue loom. Under the dial, caliber 9001 is a bidirectional automatic winder, pivots on 40 joules, 8 beats per second, certified chronometer, braced against shock with a winding rotor bearing, a full balance bridge, and a free sprung balance. It has a 70-hour power reserve. The hairspring is an overcoil made by hand that allows the watch to keep consistent time in any physical position, and the overcoil is made of a blue oxidized niobium zirconium alloy that makes this watch shock resistant, water resistant, and anti-magnetic, all under a lovely metallic sunburst gold dial. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.